This video is for lesson 1-1 pie charts. It's the work from our lesson book. This work is not collected unless it's part of the discussion section specific pages I have assigned, but this will help guide you as you get through the prep and your homework assignments for these lessons. So we'll start with lesson 1-1 pie charts. Here's the first situation, introduction. You'll see a sample schedule I have for me. This is my Tuesday and Thursdays. You can see the total amount of hours I dedicate to the different topics. And what we want to do is represent that information, that data, in a pie chart. A pie chart is just another way to examine data, just in a picture format. So looking at this, you can see the one in green is just a little bit more than the one in pink here, or this, which is my sleep, compared to the time in class. And so you could see my distribution of my hours that I have during the Tuesday or Thursday this semester. You can also take a look at, from after you have this type of situation, you can then answer some questions by looking at the biggest piece of the pie. You can take a look and see that I spend the most time in class. Next would be sleep. And so some of those basics of pie charts, we want to convert that into percents and decimals, so we can look at and answer some questions with respect to that. And so when we look at that, that's what we're really analyzing there. Yours would look a little bit different. And again, I'm not collecting this portion here. Some of the basics that we need to make sure you understand are how to take percents, solving percent, some basic percents. We do this a lot in this class, so make sure you're very comfortable with that. So for example, what we know as a percent is something what we call out of 100. So like 30% here, you could see is 30 out of 100. That's what percent is. And then you could write that as a decimal, 0.30. You would divide that on the calculator, do 30 divided by 100, and you get your 0.30. Now, in terms of a formula, we know percent is also another part divided by whole, or some amount divided by the whole. Or you could figure out some amount is equal to percent times the whole. You take a percent of the whole, gives you the amount. Here are the solutions to those problems. You can take a look at my work here. I use the abbreviations PWA to get my answers. The most important thing, again, is understand this relationship. You're going to take a percent of a whole, and then you end up with some amount or some value. And so you want to make sure you're taking a look at that. Now, after you analyze that and take a look at how I solve those problems using those formulas there, we would go ahead and answer some questions. So here's an example of a pie chart. Again, it looks like a piece of pie, and we cut it into slices. And so you can see this representation here. 85% of people buy their own vegetables, 15 grow their own vegetables. So with that in mind, we could answer some questions here. You can see, according to the graph, what percentage of people prefer to grow their own vegetables, 15. How many people actually responded? Well, we don't know the number of people that actually responded. We just have the percentage. So we don't know the total amount of people. We just know the percent. And then using this information, if there were 200 people, how many prefer to grow their own vegetables? You can see what we're going to do is 15% of 200, a percent of the whole. You multiply that. Make sure you do that accurately on your calculator. You get 30 people. This other situation here, if the town had 5,215, that would give me 782.25. or about 783 people. So that's what we're looking at here.